fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're fun too.
I don't say anything like that. Saying I can't take pictures or anything.
I just video until they tell me I don't.
And I'm back. Is anyone lost? Do we need to go find anybody? I hope we find you soon. Alrighty, let's not lose anybody for the next hour. Alrighty. Before we get started, I want to go over just a few house rules. Please no eating, smoking, or chewing gum inside the house. That helps us keep the place neat and tidy. If you do have any beverages with you, as long as they got a cap on them, that's perfectly fine. If you have something that might spill or leave crumbs, or if you're working on any chewing gum, I'm going to ask to help keep the house clean that you put it in the trash bins on either end of the hall. They are the only trash bins we have in the house, so thank you. Also, photography is welcome. Please remember your visit to the Mystery House. I do have a couple guidelines, though. Please no flash photography. Make sure the flash is off when you're taking pictures. And please no video recording. That includes those video Snapchats. It also includes FaceTime and Skype in the house as well. And my most important rule. Ready for this? Please look, but do not touch. There are a lot of beautiful antiques in the house. We believe the house is itself an antique. It's over 100.
Hi, and thanks for tuning into my video. So as you heard the tour guide at the beginning, right there when they were starting off on this tour of the Winchester Mystery House, we are not allowed to videotape, and as you can clearly see, I'm videotaping. Unfortunately, the beginning part I was shooting with my GoPro, which shoots excellent video. I am actually shooting this with my point-and-click camera, because all I was doing was just leaving it on record as I was walking around and then shutting off the record when she would kind of look at me and click some photos. The unfortunate thing with my Panasonic is, since it's not my DSLR or anything like that, is its autofocus doesn't work that great in tight or small areas, and there's a lot of those here. So mind the blurry parts. I'll try to throw in some photos and stuff where the blurry parts are, and it is kind of disconjointed, but I do shoot video of the entire house, so sit back and enjoy.
Those stainless windows. So make sure you get they add up to 13, and we're going to see that number repeating in patterns throughout the entire house. We think it was important to Mrs. Winchester, but why? We don't know. She didn't leave behind diaries or journals. We're lucky to have a few photographs of Mrs. Winchester, including the picture hanging up on the back wall. You can see Mrs. Winchester seated in the back of her carriage. She's dressed in black. You probably can't tell in the photograph, but she was a petite lady. At her tallest, she was 4 foot 10 inches. If you're tall, watch your language, how do you?
So this is the famous tiny little winding staircase in the house.
You know what?
Oh, yeah. This is that weird one, huh?
Oh my gosh.
This moved great. Running up and down these.
There, watch your toes.
Thanks.
You will make time to see it.
got our lucky 13 steps. It wasn't finished. Look at this part over here too. Left it like Mrs. Winchester left it. But even without being finished, this was probably the most modern room in her house. It was the only room in Mrs. Winchester's lifetime in her house to have both electric outlets and indoor plumbing. Well, this room also had, already installed, a shower. Probably not like your showers at home, I'm guessing. Water came out of the sides of this shower through those curved pipes. So you're supposed to stand in between and you get wet front and back simultaneously. You don't need to turn around. Also, the water's not supposed to get your hair wet. It's supposed to maintain your hairstyle, but give you a full body wash, neck and shoulders down, if you were 4 foot 10 inches tall. It was made for Sarah Winchester. Of course, that's the only shower in the house. Most people were using bathtubs. So was Sarah Winchester, but the arthritis made it more difficult. She wanted to try something new and then never bothered to finish her bathroom or use her shower. We do have 13 windows in here as well. So let's take account of that. We got the 6 spiderweb windows on the top of the wall plus 4 plain windows underneath. That's 10, 2 diamond windows, 11 and 12, and the lucky 13th window is here. It looks into Sarah Winchester's bedroom from the bathroom.
Funny thing is, Sandy doesn't even need to bend over or like get through most of this stuff.
Yeah. I was really happy with it.
Oh, a dumbwaiter. That's cool.
Lockwood Hardy. She was born in New Haven, Connecticut in 1839, and she was well educated. She learned to speak 4 languages, she could play 3 musical instruments, and she had the wonderful luck of marrying her childhood sweetheart and Ryan Gosling lookalike, William Ward Winchester, pictured there in the back. They married in 1862. In 1866, they had a child named Annie. They wouldn't have any other children, but this should be the happiest year of their lives, regardless. William's father, Oliver Winchester, also founded the Winchester Heating Arms Company that year, 1866, and released the first Winchester rifle. At the same time, that baby man.
I know.
Oh, there's a...
Yeah. Question mark?
So a lot of people said this is part of some secret ritual where she's summoning and releasing spirits. But who's to say for certain, really? Maybe Mrs. Winchester liked those 2 hours alone at night. Come on in a bit more. Open up that door in the back.
I was going to say, shut up.
No sudden drops. We're good? Excellent. Perfect. Goodbye. Max.
Sleeper here, eh?
I was going to say, if you need help.
I'm good. Got enough stops.
Yeah, that's the one good thing.
Just the weird, like, steps and stuff.
Oh no, this is a wacky.
That's why I said, if you need to grab onto me, grab onto me.
Like I said, we can take, I'll put my backpack in front and you can get on the back.
It's nice and cool in here.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, need to do a little plastering.
Right there.
half of them are like that little one that we passed, where it's like a chair's in there, and that's it. That's one of the
This room
160.
was left unfinished when Mrs. Winchester passed away. Gives us a good idea of how she was building her house. On the walls and ceiling, you're looking at lapboard. The next step would be applying plaster and then your choice of wall covering. You can also see the sprinkler system. It's not original, although it's pretty old. Installation began in 1949 to keep the house up for code, since it was already open for tours. Kind of a difficult job to plan out the sprinklers when there aren't actual blueprints. So it took a year to map out the house. And then it took 20 years and 7.5 miles of pipes to complete the job. Kind of a big place. Our next stop is one of my favorite rooms, the North Conservatory, bright and beautiful right across the hall here.
Oh, no, this is actually house-like.
Not anymore, but it used to.
Oh, sorry.
So it cost a lot of upkeep, and they wouldn't let us actually have fun with like kind of OSHA standards or something. Yeah. So, there you go. You can see what the room would have looked like a little bit more.
Just a toilet.
It's not very private, is it?
Well, there's wood flooring then next to that. Original linoleum. Thank you for watching our step around the two fireplaces. The Hall of Fires. Well, first of all, it's a hallway made up of 3 separate rooms. Mrs. Winchester's carpenters built the rooms on the ends of the hall. They did not have to build this room in the middle because it was already on the lamp when Sarah Winchester bought the place in 1884. It was part of a water tower. They called it a tank house. It had 2 stories and supported the weight of a tank of water above. We can tell it used to be a tank house because in the corners of the walls actually slant towards each other to help support the weight of the tank of water. But Mrs. Winchester's adding rooms to her farmhouse, and this tank house is in the way. So she builds a new one, she moves the tank of water, she builds this one into her house so she doesn't have to waste too many supplies. It's a really modern idea. Sarah Winchester reused as much as she could in the house. The reason it's the Hall of Fires, I think, is pretty straightforward. We've got
Kent already has his ideas.
Mrs. Winchester loves the bigger one, right? It's termite resistant, it's local source too, it's really durable, so she used redwood to build the structure of the house. Easy to do, it's not but using redwood as the furniture for this room, there are no windows in here.
There's your sewing room.
Yeah, there it is. Built and stuff.
Yeah, this is the walls are damaged.
Where was the stained glass? Yeah. Sorry, nobody telephoned us. Yeah.
it is the look that's coming back. That's hilarious.
Did you guys notice which one was the most expensive window?
It was the fancy one by the big staircase.
Yeah.
The oval one?
I figured that was the fanciest looking one.
Yeah, it did.
Oh wow. Good.
Alright, so we just kind of follow it around the back wall here. Wait for me to go in because I don't want you guys to get lost in the game. Make sure you guys have something.
Yep. Non-hard hat is this one.
Where did they go?
I was trying to follow them. Oh, we tried to follow the archive group.
Dad spells.
No way.
Probably close.
Oh, you didn't.
There's a little more space.
Andrew, did you fall?
No. Not yet.
That's what we need is some windows inside the house, baby. Oh boy.
That's pretty good.
I'll let you figure it out.
So watch your head right here.
Watch your head right there.
An actual bathroom.
And then this one, you're gonna hold the rail on the right.
Rail on the right.
Rail on the right.
So they said you put that rail on the right. On the right. Your other right.
Right here.
This one. Feel right?
It's just like, I'm like, wow, this looks like people from like BuzzFeed or something, and then it's like, oh, they're people from BuzzFeed.
Yeah, they were saying.
I wasn't here for those shows. I've been here for some of the other stuff.
Oh, I'm doing Easy Risers.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh gosh, this is silly. Oh, silly. Oh my gosh, this is so short. I want to see that shoe.
I'm going through the little mini door.
Like run back down and come back up this way.
So weird.
Didn't budget all. It's not going to. Yeah. It took 5 over and then like a 6-month rotating in to actually get that thing. And then everybody eating when we moved it. Like, this is even.
The arcade would be in the fountain, but not by her choice. It's because Sam would throw her in there. Oh, there's the door to nowhere.
Not from the inside.
Yeah.
Reception. If Mrs. Winchester was going to have visitors, she would be greeting them in here, and then inviting them into the parlor for tea, or into the dining room next to us for a grand dinner. The dining room had been finished, and then Mrs. Winchester changed her mind, tore it down, started remodeling it, and then the earthquake came to town, which meant she wasn't ready for visitors, which meant she never had any. So why build these beautiful rooms if you're never going to actually open them up for guests? Even the front doors. She never saw visitors walking through them. $3,000 is what those doors cost. You could buy it for $3,000.
I know.
The grand ballroom.
That costs a couple bucks nowadays.
Oh my. Imagine trying to replace them.
those come from 2 different places here, and they weren't supposed to be read together. So what did they mean when Sarah Winchester put them up here in her ballroom together? It's a mystery. That's what we call it, a mystery house. So unfortunately, we don't know the answer to that, but maybe they meant something. We're going to be heading next through a kitchen. The oldest kitchen in the house that was also closed up after the San Francisco earthquake, along with the ballroom and the rooms we just walked through. We're also going to pass by an elevator shaft.
Oh, there's a bathroom. So that's the elevator. Look at that butcher block. That thing's dope.
Ooh, you want a butcher block? That's what people be looking for.
Unusual room, and there's no real way for me to explain the room without just showing you what is happening in here. So would you do me a favor and open up that cupboard right next to you? This is what we call the smallest cupboard in the house. Inside, you will see it's not actually a wall, folks. That's ½ an inch of storage space. So that's actually not useless. It's just next to useless. Right, yeah, no, a few sheets of paper could definitely fit in there. But don't worry, we got some more space inside the house. Would you do me a favor and open up the largest cupboard right behind you here? Inside the largest cupboard in the house, you will see the back of the house. I will not deny this is a big cupboard, but honestly, how practical is it? The smallest cupboard is probably more useful than this one. Why do we have these? Any ideas? Why not?
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. This is where I default to what a 4-year-old told me a couple years ago. He said this was for puppet shows. You sit on the steps, you watch the puppet shows, and grab quesadillas out of the smallest cupboard.
I like that idea.
That's the truth. We're going to be heading into the largest cupboard next. We're not jumping through here. The house is too old to let us have fun. But if you didn't get a good look at the cupboards, open them up again. Just make sure we close both of them on our way out of the room, and watch your step in the doorway.
Oh yeah, I'm opening it back up. Yeah, it's a good cupboard.
Yeah. Short questions, touching, being a kid.
Yeah, watch your step.
Brian, they do look Halloween triggers.
Oh, I'm sure.
What is this? Oh my god, the wedding will start.
Oh, there's a full one too.
Oh wow.
The holding room. She went straight to jail. Just a little bakery.
Yes, so that way you can actually get back here.
Bakery, not gonna lie.
Except that one would have.
That bread looks good.
Yeah. Well, this is the newest kitchen in the house. It became the main kitchen after the 1906 earthquake. It looks familiar. Have we seen this kitchen before? On the other side of the stove wood is the seance room. If Sarah Winchester's up there, there's no way for us to tell. And there's also a passage in the kitchen here. You can open up those sliding doors next to you there. This is for food, not for people. Don't try crawling through there. Once the cook has made a plate of food, the cook's not wearing an appropriate outfit to go into a formal dining room. So she just puts the food here, and the butler will open the cabinet next side to take the food to the table. We're going to be going... incredibly informative.
You're such a rascal.
What's down there?
The basement probably.
The basement, probably.
A little bit. Well, they did 3 days of filming here. It's really hard to film here. You got all the sprinkler system too to like edit out too, so that's a lot of money. So yeah, most of it they had to do the set that they built. But a little bit. Main bedroom, grand ballroom, a few hallways, shots of the roof. It's really hard to rebuild all the roofs that we got here, so yeah, we did that here. This is the Venetian dining room. It was built after the earthquake. It became the main dining room for Mrs. Winchester use from then on, and it has a more modern theme to it. We've entered the Edwardian era. Low ceilings and walls made out of West African mahogany, leaded glass, and an Italian marble fireplace at the end of the room that a lot of people seem to take for granted. That was a rock solid thought, right? Yeah. This is the final stop of my tour, and I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. It has been my pleasure to be your tour guide.